Imagine someone gets made Demon King for one day, and his job is to spread fear in the world. To raise that fear, he kidnaps the world's princesses, but when he tries, instead of getting scared, the princess steps forward like she is already ready to go with him happily. This is what happens with our Demon King, Berger Deus. The Demon King screams in pain. He cannot believe what just happens, because the hero defeats him inside his own throne room. In that moment, he has to accept a painful and humiliating defeat. He thinks about how the hero's sword tears him and sinks into his chest. He cannot understand how this can happen to him, because he is the top student of the Demon King Academy, and he follows the Demon King Standard Book with full loyalty. The standard says he should build a tower, kidnap a few princesses, and then, when heroes come to save them, he should not finish them quickly. He should prepare them instead. He should let them grow strong, because ending them early feels useless to him. The standard teaches that he should defeat them only when they become fully ready. With this thinking, he keeps absorbing grief and anger from countless people, including heroes, and he becomes the strongest Demon King in the world. But today, he loses and gets completely humiliated. The hero laughs at him and makes him feel like all demons are the same. The hero also makes him realize that demons set up everything themselves, and then get shocked when they see the final result. The Demon King shakes with anger and tries to understand what this really means. The hero reminds him that demons always kidnap the most famous princess to send a signal. Then the hero explains that a smarter move would be to remove the human king directly, so the whole system of the kingdom collapses. This idea sticks in the Demon King's mind. He understands that if the human king got kidnapped, humans would fight among themselves, and their anger would not come toward him. But he also knows this goes against the standard, and it would pull him away from the true Demon King path. The hero also points out that when the heroes are not going toward the tower, the Demon King sends monsters to train them. Then it gets even better at the tower, because the first floor always has weak creatures, which match their skill level and become perfect for leveling up. The Demon King admits inside himself that he does not let the hero die on the way, because he wants to gather more energy. He does all of this only because the standard tells him to, and he follows every line of that book. Then the same moment returns when the hero runs at him with full power for the final strike. Shock and anger appear together on the Demon King's face, like he finally understands the real truth for the first time. The hero makes it clear that when the tower gets old, they just finished the Demon King, so a new one comes. This place is not a symbol of terror. It is a hunting ground only for heroes. The hero looks at his companions, and they agree. They even thank the Demon King for helping them level up, and some of them treat him like a sponsor. They say the training spot is great and the tower loot is also good. Lying on the floor, the Demon King breaks inside and wonders if his tower is only their gym. The hero admits the Demon King is truly powerful, and many heroes even lose because of him, but that does not bring shame. It brings more fame to the heroes. The hero raises the sword for the last strike. The Demon King fills with rage and cannot accept that a small hero dares to humiliate him like this. While his life fades, he keeps questioning what use the Demon King standard has, because he does not want to die for nothing. While dying, he declares himself the Demon King and releases all his remaining energy. With his last power, he curses the heroes so they pay the price. At that moment, strange purple energy comes out of his body. He pours his last drop of life into it to launch one final desperate attack. The hero understands it is dangerous, but it is already too late. In his final moments, the Demon King realizes the standard is wrong, and it is made to mislead them. His senses fade, and bitter regret stays behind because he follows that book for his whole life. He wants one more chance so he can fight against this cursed thing. Suddenly, the purple energy explodes and swallows his body. It spreads across the whole throne room and wraps around all the heroes there. In the next moment, he jolts awake because someone loudly calls the name Berger Deus. The Demon King finds himself in a younger body in a familiar place, but he cannot understand what is happening. He stands in a crowd, then he realizes he is somehow alive, and he has returned to the moment when he gets chosen as Demon King 15 years ago. It is his graduation day ceremony. The voice calls him again, and he walks toward the stage while trying to understand this sudden change. He He does not know why he comes back to the past, but he understands it is a huge chance for him. After that, Berger gets called to read the oath to become the new Demon King. In front of everyone, the Demon King standard appears as a projection with its 6 main rules. For the first time, he looks at it with deep hate and humiliation. He remembers how he memorizes every word and spends his whole life following it. One thought keeps spinning in his mind. This trash causes his death, and it turns him into a toy for heroes. He wonders if he has to read all of this again, and worse, if he has to swear in front of everyone that he will follow these rules for the rest of his life. The teachers and the dean smile with pride, like their best student stands there, but inside he grinds his teeth in anger. When it becomes his turn, Berger puts on a hateful smile like he is about to speak, but then he refuses in front of everyone. The whole hall goes silent. His classmates cannot understand what suddenly happens. He announces that he cannot take such a foolish oath because following the standard is the biggest foolish thing. Then he declares for everyone to hear that the Demon King standard is complete trash. The hall freezes. One student gets so shocked that his glasses break on their own. These words feel unbearable, and Berger gets arrested and taken to the demon court, presented in front of Archduke of the Demon Realm, Arcane Blairev, a man who looks extremely powerful and terrifying. Arcane Blairev explains that Berger insults the Demon King standard, and it can even lead to a death sentence, but he changes the decision and gives him a final chance. He demands that Berger takes it back and asks forgiveness from the whole demon realm, or he gets sent to Erin. Whispers spread through the crowd that Erin is the dimension where demon kings get thrown away to be finished, which is almost direct death. People are shocked that he even gets a second chance, because only asking forgiveness does not feel enough. The Archduke reminds everyone that Erin is the worst domain, where countless demon kings already lose their lives. But then he shocks everyone even more. He locks eyes with the Archduke and demands to be sent there. He declares that he will go to Arin and prove that the Demon King's standard and all of this is only nonsense. The Archduke treats him like a madman, brushes it off, and uses a magic circle to transfer him to Arin. He gets no privilege, no demon goes with him, and he gets thrown out of the demon realm with a command to not return without completing the mission. While falling, Berger remembers that after causing this much mess, this result is expected. He is going back to the same Erin where the heroes are, the same ones who defeat him before. He also remembers that even before the regression, he chooses Erin himself because he believes the strongest should go to the most dangerous place. That same pride becomes his enemy because heroes keep using the Demon King standard to kill demon kings. A loud blast happens on the peak of a snow-covered mountain, and Berger spreads his demon wings and lands on the highest mountain of the North Continent. He swears he will not let it happen twice. This time, he becomes the one who exploits. A short time earlier, when Berger is presented in the hall, Gordon Drake is also there, the top graduate of the Demon Academy this year. He believes the Demon King Academy trains demon kings to rule, and the Demon Academy trains demons who will serve them. People congratulate him that he gets the chance to serve Lord Berger. Gordon smiles and believes every demon king who leaves that place is amazing, and he also believes no one is as amazing as Lord Berger. In his heart, he sees Berger as a genius of the demonic dragon lineage, and he feels graduating in the same year is a huge honor. He feels sure that with Berger, they can win any dimension and his own name will shine in the history of the demon realm. Then Berger's voice echoes through the hall. Gordon and the other students freeze, and Berger screams and announces that the Demon King standard is trash and nonsense. This is the same moment when Gordon's glasses break. Now the story returns to the present time. In the deep, empty area of the highest mountains of the North Continent, Gordon stands in the snow. The order is that no demon should go with him, but Gordon still comes to serve as king. When he turns, Berger walks toward him in a calm and confident way. Berger gives a small smile, greets Gordon, and extends his hand like a friend. Gordon immediately asks why he does all this. Berger acts unaware and asks what he even means. Then Gordon loses control and panics, because Berger insults the standard and now comes to die in Arin, and Gordon also ends up here. Gordon starts pulling at his own hair. Berger thinks Gordon is already like this, because in his old impression, Gordon looks confident and cool. Gordon calms himself, takes a deep breath, and pushes himself into a motivated mindset. Berger realizes things are already different this time. For a moment, he considers telling Gordon about regression, but he drops the idea because Gordon will think he is crazy. After a while, Gordon catches his breath in the snow and apologizes for his behavior. Then he says he will complete his duty. Now the first rule of the standard comes to mind, that the Demon King should build a tower that is easy to reach. Gordon warns that this place is far too dangerous. Tall mountains surround them, and reaching here is almost impossible for humans. Berger ignores the warning and makes it clear the tower gets built here. He plants a tower seed into the snow, and it becomes clear that it needs the Demon King's blood to grow. Gordon panics again, because this goes against the standard and throws Demon King pride into the trash. Berger understands the hate behind it, because leaving an old belief is not easy for a demon. He knows it happens only when someone has already died inside, like he dies before. With that thought, he clenches his fist so hard that blood starts dripping from his fingers. He tells Gordon that the standard is useless trash and airing, and he lets his blood drip onto the seed. Gordon becomes speechless at his words and attitude. Red energy spreads to the snowy mountains from Berger's blood. At the same time, Berger makes his decision clear. Airing is full of heroes, and heroes roam everywhere. He remembers the heroes from his past life who kill him. In that moment, the tower system identifies him as Berger Deus of the Black Flame Demonic Dragon Tribe. As soon as the identification completes, the tower gets summoned and rises from inside the snow with heavy force. Berger explains that demon kings who die in Aaron die because humans find a special method and turn the standard into a weapon against them. On this land, this standard does not even work. It should be called the hero standard. Gordon goes into full confusion. In front of them, between snow and mountains, a sad and terrifying tower now stands up to the sky. Gordon stares upward, frozen, because his king truly summons a tower in this forbidden area. Berger moves toward the tower door and signals Gordon to come inside. They enter the first floor and see a huge empty hall, completely silent. Gordon points out there is nothing here. Berger sees it as perfect for a king with no privilege. They move up and reach the Demon King chamber on the 5th floor, and the floors on the way are also empty. Gordon says that if the tower is built, at least the second rule should be followed. The second rule says a prince or princess from a high family must be kidnapped. Gordon asks for permission to suggest. Berger allows it. Gordon suggests kidnapping the princess of the Korzen Empire, because the whole empire will explode with anger and the tower will grow fast. Gordon expects Berger to refuse, but Berger surprises him and accepts the plan. Gordon stays stunned. Berger says he already has a princess in mind, then orders Gordon to handle the tower, because he is going himself. Gordon thinks maybe the king is under graduation stress. Then he asks who Berger is going to bring. Berger turns serious and reveals his bold plan. He is going to the most distant country of the continent, the Hilderan Empire. Gordon becomes speechless, and the scene changes immediately. In a star-filled silent night, the balcony of a bright room is visible. Suddenly, Berger appears flying outside the window. A beautiful blonde princess stands in front of him. Berger makes it clear that out of all the princesses, he targets the 13th one, the one with the least presents. With a hard, serious face, he explains that tonight he comes to take her with him. The princess does not panic even a little. She looks at him calmly, with curiosity, and in a soft way she asks who he is and what he is doing here. Berger makes it clear that he is the Demon King and he comes to kidnap her. The princess smiles and asks something that makes Berger stop. She asks if he is sure he can handle her. The question feels strange to Berger, and he cannot understand what kind of question this is. Then the princess extends both hands forward and says he should take her. Berger freezes. His silence makes her more suspicious, so she asks what his plan is. Berger warns her not to try any trick. He stays tense and refuses to get trapped. The princess says she has no plan, because otherwise, how can she know in advance that he will come? Berger accepts that the point has weight, but the unease stays. The princess extends her hands again and asks if they should go. The scene returns to Berger's tower. Berger flies toward the icy fortress, carrying the princess in his arms, and lands. Gordon greets him at the door and feels relief that the king returns safely. Berger orders that the princess should be kept on the 4th floor, not in a jail. Gordon gets surprised. Then he understands she does not resist at all. Gordon says an important thing needs to be discussed. Berger raises an eyebrow and asks what it is. On the 4th floor, the princess stands alone in a cold, empty hall. She notes there is no pillow, no blanket, no maids, and none of the beautiful gardens from her old room. She also realizes this place is completely different from her kingdom, but a playful smile still comes on her face, and she admits it is not that bad. Back in the throne room, Gordon informs Berger that an invitation comes from the Beast Tower. Berger's eyes light up. Gordon confirms it is a welcome party for the new Demon King. Berger feels suspicious because Demon Kings are proud, but in Arin they work together because a different factor exists here. He remembers he used to ignore them as weak, but now he decides he will keep some connection. Then an ancient and terrifying beast tower appears in the middle of a forest. Inside, the beast demon king Draxon sits on his throne, chewing meat, while Berger approaches him. Draxon mentions he stays here for 70 years, then asks if this new demon king is Berger, and he hears Berger mocks tradition. Berger makes it clear that if this is about fighting, then it should be said directly. Draxon laughs loudly and explains that Archduke Arcane tells him that when Berger comes, he should be treated well. Berger mutters that the old loud vampire thinks sending him is not enough. Draxon gets angry, slams a piece of meat onto the floor, and demands that Berger kneels and licks it. Only then the insult gets forgiven. Berger reminds him that according to the Orthodox rules, demon kings cannot fight each other. In the next moment, he ignores that Orthodox rule completely and starts gathering heavy energy in strong anger. With a cold, hard look, Berger questions if Draxon truly thinks he will follow such a foolish rule. For the first time, Draxon feels Berger's dangerous aura and gets shaken inside, wondering where this power comes from. Draxon explains Arcane tells him to check if Berger kidnaps a princess or not. Berger cuts him off and confirms he does, and it is the correct kind of kidnapping. Draxon's eyes widen. As Berger leaves, he keeps a small smile and makes it clear the princess fits his test and his taste. They return to Berger's tower. Berger sits on his throne and thinks that if the other demon kings also turn out like Draxon, things will get worse. He sends Gordon to check the princess's condition. Berger realizes the price of mocking Orthodox is far heavier than he expects. But even then, if he gets another chance, he still does the same, because dying is better than bowing to trash. He decides inside that this time he will rebuild the foundation from the start and will not repeat the mistakes of his past life. He checks his energy points. He expects a few hundred points because he kidnaps a low-ranked princess, but when he checks, he freezes because the points are above 13,000. At the same time, a video recording comes from the Beast Tower. Berger opens it and sees Draxon smiling and congratulating him. Draxon says the first meeting goes badly, but as a senior, he should still give something. He also says what Berger does in Arin is not easy, and Draxon feels impressed. Berger immediately senses something is wrong, because this tone does not fit Draxon at all. In the same moment, Gordon runs in, breathing hard, and reports a big problem on the 4th floor. The floor that is cold and empty until now turns into a green forest within minutes. Berger stands still after seeing it. Then the system voice echoes and announces that a naturalization process is running on the 4th floor. Berger's mind goes blank for a second. In front of him, the princess smiles and greets him. Berger understands at once that she builds this whole ecosystem within minutes. He estimates this is possible only for someone with perfect control over all 4 elements, and in the whole continent, only one person can do that, and it cannot be the 13th princess. With a playful smile, the girl makes it clear that Berger, just like she expects, mistakes her for her sister Alina. Sweat appears on Berger's face and his heartbeat speeds up. In a calm way, she introduces herself as Ernan Hilderon, the first princess of the Hilderon Empire. In the Hilderon Empire, the news spreads like fire that the first princess is kidnapped. The king loses control in rage and orders the strongest heroes to be called, the whole army to be prepared, this foolish demon king to be destroyed, and his daughter to be brought back alive. Aranon reminds him with light mischief that this is why she asks earlier if Berger is sure he can handle her. While wiping sweat, Berger thinks how this is even possible, because he does not detect mana in her when he picks her as a princess. Aranon shows her ring and explains it is the royal family heir ring, and with it, she hides her mana completely. Berger understands. Aranon plays him like a fool. Aranon asks again, in the same playful way, if he will send her back now or not. Berger thinks in silence. He knows that if he sends her back, the other demon kings will call him a coward. They will mock him, and gathering demonic energy will become almost impossible. He grinds his teeth and decides he will not step back now, no matter what happens. At that moment, a sharp system notification rings out. The system announces large-scale targeting is detected, a rage wave is received, and demonic energy points suddenly increase by thousands. Berger looks into Aranon's eyes and stays cold. Nothing changes. Whoever she is still his hostage for now. In the Hilderan Palace, chaos spreads. The king shouts orders to kill this demon king and bring his daughter back alive. Advisors and generals try to explain that they still do not even know which demon king it is. Patrols are already sent, and reports will come soon, but the king refuses to wait. He keeps raging that they must move now, find him now, and destroy him now, and he keeps screaming at everyone for not acting. Then the royal advisor steps forward and quietly says something is very wrong. He reminds them that some time ago, the last demon king kidnaps a prince from another country, and the anger becomes so huge that all heroes gather and finish him. But even after that, another demon king appears and kidnaps Aranon. Silence falls over the hall, and everyone understands this is not an old demon king. This is a new one. A few seconds later, a guard runs in and reports teleport magic traces are found. The direction is north, and the destination looks like Argus Mountain. The king's eyes widen. Back in Berger's tower, Gordon rushes in and says the full Hilderan army will reach here soon. He asks if they can handle that many. Berger smiles calmly and makes it clear the Hilderan army will not even be seen here. Gordon gets shocked and asks why. Berger lightly explains that his tower is in the far last corner of the North continent, very far from Hilderan. Between them, many countries exist, and none of them will allow Hilderan's army to pass through their land. When no path remains, Hilderan will be forced to call the Hero Guild. This is exactly what happens. The Hilderan king asks the guild for help. When the news spreads, many heroes gather, but as soon as they learn the place is Argus Mountain, they refuse with bad faces. They call Argus a hell-like area, full of hellish monsters. Some of them openly act like they do not care if the Hilderan king lives or dies. Berger explains his strategy to Gordon. The Hero Guild looks only at money, and in such a dangerous area, no one takes that risk. This is the reason he builds the tower in Argist. Gordon's eyes stay wide. He asks how the king knows so much about Aaron already, and it feels like the king comes here before. Berger only gives a small smile and stays silent. In the Hilderan Palace, the king goes insane because no hero comes and no one is coming to save his daughter. Meanwhile, Berger sits calmly on his throne and plans the next steps. Then Berger opens his status window and gets a shock. Even now, his demonic energy is still far less than a full hero army. He realizes he needs to form a proper group. It will take time, but without that, they will never have enough demonic energy to face the hero army, because he already knows the result. The memory of the old heroes makes his skin crawl. He turns to Gordon and orders him to contact Draxon. Draxon will buy demonic energy, and in return, he will pay with human money. Gordon panics and reacts like this is madness, because demonic energy is the dream currency of demons. More energy means a more terrifying and stronger demon, and selling it feels like selling your own life. Berger stays cold. With their current energy, they cannot stop a full hero army. But if human money comes in, another path opens. Gordon, close to tears, contacts Draxon and sells a few thousand points. Right after that, Berger heads straight toward Hilton's workshop. Near the Argus Mountains, at the gate of a fortress city, guards shout for him to stop, but Berger does not stop. He tosses a thick gold coin into the air and makes it clear that if they are mercenaries and want work, they should open the way. The moment the guards see the coin, their eyes shine. They open the door at once and start arguing about which side the coin falls on. Berger moves inside. He sees this city for the first time, so he needs a guide. He goes straight to the Mercenary Guild headquarters. Inside, smoke and alcohol smell fill the place. The guild master, Bojo, a big heavy man, sits with his feet on the table, drinking and laughing loudly while mocking the new Demon King. He says Argist is so far from Hilderin that even a horse cannot reach in a full year, and only a madman built a tower there. The other mercenaries laugh too. One mentions the rumor that the first princess, Ernon, is taken. Another claims it is all drama and Hilderin is doing it to pull money out. Then they say heroes also want the same thing, and if they get a chance, they will squeeze a huge reward from the king. Berger stands in the shadow and listens to everything. Then he suddenly steps forward, places a hand on Bojo's shoulder, and quietly says something. Bojo's laughter dies. His drink glass starts shaking. Berger smiles at the others and says their knowledge is impressive. Then he orders everyone else to go outside and keeps this one with him. The whole hall goes silent. No one moves. One mercenary pulls a sword in anger and challenges him, and 5 or 6 jump at once, but in the next moment, heavy sounds explode. Chairs flip, people fly, and bodies slam onto the floor. No one even understands what happens. Then a huge mercenary swings a heavy iron hammer at Berger with both hands. Berger only raises his left hand. The hammer stops after hitting his palm. Berger gives a small push, and the giant man flies back and falls away. Minutes later, silence takes over the hall. Only Bojo stays conscious, kneeling and shaking. Berger leans close and calmly says that if Bojo wants to live, he should answer a question. Bojo cries and agrees fast. Berger asks where the slave market is. Bojo points the way at once and also walks with him. At the market, Berger sees that the upper section is mostly human slaves. He raises an eyebrow and asks where the other races are: elves, beastkin, and dwarves. Bojo nervously explains they are kept in the underground section, where the expensive ones are. Berger smiles and places a heavy bag of gold into Bojo's hand. The weight makes Bojo's hand shake, and a wide smile spreads on his face. Bojo starts rushing ahead and shows him a special room. On the way, Berger thinks that humans and demons share the same weakness: greed. If he wants something done, greed makes it happen. He remembers his plan. He needs an elf slave who can enter among heroes as a spy and create trouble from inside. He knows elves look innocent, but they can become dangerous weapons. At the same time, in the Hilderin Palace, 2 great heroes, Hill and Cargill, kneel in front of the king and promise they will bring the princess back alive and bring the Demon King's head. In the underground slave market, a dark room holds non-human slaves in iron chains. The slave master comes with a flattering smile and asks what is preferred. Berger stays quiet, points toward an elf in a corner, and chooses that one. Then he looks at Bojo with a cold tone and makes it clear the guild captain will pay. Bojo quickly steps forward, hands trembling, and offers the heavy bag, acting like there is no problem at all. The slave master feels the weight and starts sweating, then smiles in joy. Berger sends both of them out and says he needs a private moment. The slave master hesitates and warns that this one is very dangerous and can go berserk anytime. When the door closes, Berger walks straight to the cage. He snaps his fingers. Black flame runs across the chains, and in a moment, Granada is freed. Granada instantly feels Berger's demonic aura. His green eyes narrow, and he realizes this is not a human, this is a demon, and he asks what Berger wants from him. Berger calmly explains he is giving Granada a chance to take revenge on humans. Granada's breathing speeds up. He admits the offer feels tempting, but trusting demons feels as impossible as trusting humans. Berger insists he is not like the others and Granada should accept. He promises that after 50 years, Granada will be fully free, and he even swears it. Granada gives a cold laugh and treats 50 years like nothing for an elf. He reminds him that demons carry a centuries-old dream of burning the world tree, and elves keep saving the world by giving their lives. He questions how Berger can prove he will never touch the world tree. Granada keeps staring with narrowed eyes, because a demon asking an elf for help already feels suspicious. Berger stays silent for a while. Then he takes a deep breath. and agrees. He swears on the Demon King standards that after 50 years, Granada gets full freedom and the World Tree never gets touched. Granada's eyes widen because an oath on the Demon King standards cannot be false. He pauses, then slowly nods. Berger takes him out of the cage and now demands Granada should swear on the World Tree that for the next 50 years, he will serve. Granada laughs and calls Berger a strange demon. Then he sets a condition. He will swear only if Berger first shows the Demon King who sends him. Berger makes it clear he is that Demon King and gives his name as Berger Deus. Granada freezes, then bursts into loud laughter. He calls it a terrible joke because a Demon King does not leave his tower where he is strongest and come to a slave market to talk to a slave. While laughing, he says that if Berger is truly the Demon King, then he will serve him for 100 years. Berger smiles and accepts the deal. They return to the tower. On the 5th floor, Berger sits on his throne and calmly reminds Granada about the 100-year contract. Granada first turns blank, then explodes in anger and calls it a trap. He points out how the Demon King's tower can be this empty, with no monsters, no traps, no guards, and at this rate Berger will not last even 1 year. He says a hero party will come and rip Berger apart. Then he acts like he cannot work with such a losing Demon King and tries to cancel the contract. In that moment, Berger releases his terrifying aura and reminds him again that the contract is real. Granada's decision changes instantly because that aura itself is proof. He understands Berger is real. On the way, he also notices that the big demons hiding in the mountains do not attack them, and his suspicion becomes even stronger. Granada bows and swears to serve for 100 years. After the oath, Granada expects a big assignment, but Berger tells him to cook food. A while later, Granada cooks in the kitchen and wonders if Berger goes to the city only for this. The princess also helps prepare the food. When the food is ready, everyone gathers in the dining room. Granada then finds out the girl who helps with lunch is Ernon, the first princess of Hilderon. He loses control and yells at Berger for taking such a risky step when they have no defense against heroes. Gordon also supports the same point. Berger calms Granada down and explains this is exactly why he buys him, then orders him to stay quiet and eat. Berger tastes the food and praises it. Ernon adds a small teasing comment that she also helps, and Granada starts feeling like he cannot understand right and wrong in his tower at all. Later, Berger takes Granada to the 4th floor. Granada asks if Berger wants him to fight heroes. Berger makes it clear he does not. If heroes reach this close to the tower, everything ends for him. Then Berger gives him his real task. He has to create chaos in the human world. Granada agrees, but Berger says before that, he will check his skills. Granada calls Berger crazy because no one can defeat the Demon King inside his own tower. Berger sets a handicap. He will use only one hand and will not use demonic energy. Then he sets a deal. If Granada wins, Berger will cut 50 years from the contract. Granada gets fired up and commits to using full power. Granada starts the attack at once and pushes Berger back with fast strikes. Berger blocks and dodges, and he notes inside that even after staying a slave for so long, Granada's movements are still sharp. Berger asks if Granada pulls nearby mana to boost his physical ability, and he comments that this style fits an elf perfectly. Granada answers with pride that no normal elf can do his next move. He forms a hand sign, coats his arm with rock, then grows vines from the ground that lock Berger's feet, making Berger fully open. Berger stays calm and reminds him that a Demon King is standing in front of him. He keeps his promise. He does not use demonic energy, and he keeps his power controlled so he does not accidentally end Granada. Even then, Granada gets beaten so badly that the whole tower shakes. Later, Berger reaches the Red Hawk mercenaries. Guild Captain Bojo starts flattering him at once. The injured mercenaries watch with sad eyes, because their leader bows to the same person who does this to them. Berger suddenly throws a bag full of gold coins into their middle and treats it as their deposit. Faces change instantly, and everyone joins the flattery. Berger thinks he might build a new team. He says he is adding a new member to the team. The captain agrees immediately. The others try to object, but when they see Granada, who looks even more beaten than them, their eyes turn wet and they welcome him, because the same thing happens to all of them. Berger watches quietly and thinks these people look average, but they are solid for work. He calculates that Hildebrand's hero Helon, the one who kills the last Demon King, will surely come. That is why he orders the Red Hawk mercenaries to spy on Helon City. Back at the tower, Berger thinks it is time to become stronger. Normally, demonic energy points are used to upgrade the tower or strengthen the Demon King himself, but he sells all of his points. Now only one path is left for him to grow stronger: Spirit Blossom. He explains it is a mana crystal that forms by absorbing nature mana, and eating it gives a massive power boost. He knows nature is already damaged in normal places, but the Argus Mountains are full of powerful monsters, and the spirit blossoms there drink nature mana for years, making their energy refined and pure. When he prepares to go search for Spirit Blossom, Gordon tries to stop him and warns it is too risky. Monsters will attack if they get a chance, and finding it is not easy. Berger laughs and says he can handle monsters easily. The real problem is how to find blossoms without a mana detector. At that moment, someone knocks. Aranon enters and asks if they are busy. An idea hits Berger at once. He takes Aranon's hand and pulls her outside the tower. The moment they step out, Aranon happily says she is bored for days. Then she reminds him that if he finds what he is searching for, she will decorate the 4th floor in her own way. Berger laughs and agrees, but he thinks she already decorates it, so what else is left? Berger places a hand around her waist and lifts into the air. Aranon screams in fear at first, then after a few seconds, she opens her eyes and gets stunned by the world below. She remembers she always stays locked inside the estate, doing only training and study, and she believes her whole life will be like that. Now she looks down from above the mountains and excitedly asks if she is the first human to fly over the Argus Mountains. Berger gives a dull yes. Aranon gets annoyed and demands he should not call her princess and should use her name. Berger pauses for a beat, then suddenly grabs both her hands and leaves her hanging in the air. In a cold way, he makes it clear she is a hostage, and she should not act smart or he will throw her into an underground jail. Ernon's color drains, and she agrees fast. Aranon calls her spirits and orders them to find Spirit Blossom. Berger expects it will take time and mountains is huge, but he gets shocked when all spirits return within minutes. Aranon happily confirms they find it. They reach the spot and the Spirit Blossom is shining, but a full group of orcs stands around it. Berger first roars in a polite warning, making it clear he is the Demon King and they should hand over the flower and leave quietly. The orcs laugh loudly. Their leader spits and claims Berger sells his power, so now he is weaker than them. Berger understands in 1 second that talk will not work. He decides to finish it. He raises his hand and black flames burst out. Dark flames turn the whole orc group into ash in a blink. Aranon stares with wide eyes and mutters that he is still this strong. By evening, the remaining orcs in that area are also gone. Once the orcs are gone, Aranon steps close to the Spirit Blossom, stares at it, and notes how pure the mana is, like crystal. Berger instantly scolds her to not get greedy, because it is his. While pulling the flower out, he says that if he finds a second one, he will give her one. They search for hours, but they do not find another. In the end, Berger lifts Aranon in his arms and flies back to the tower. After reaching, he looks at the Spirit Blossom in his hand and softly mutters, thinking about Aranon, this girl, and how he expects something else from her. Holding the Spirit Blossom, Berger quietly admits Aranon turns out far more useful than he expects. At that moment, Gordon runs in. His face looks heavy, and while breathing hard, he reports a message comes from Granada. Berger asks what the news is. Gordon takes a deep breath and explains that Helon forms an alliance with 32 other heroes, and all of them already leave the Hildebrand capital and move toward the tower. Gordon also explains they will not come straight to Argus. On the way, they are building a proper party, taking quests village by village and leveling up. Gordon even maps their full journey plan. Berger glances at the paper and throws it away, then orders it to be burned. Gordon gets shocked, So Berge makes it clear that sending half-ready monsters or placing small obstacles only makes heroes stronger, because farming like that is their favorite method, and he will not give them that comfort. In the next moment, Berge smiles and gives the opposite order. Granada should place all mercenaries inside the hero party. They should help them, join quests, build trust, and let them level up as much as they want. Gordon's eyes widen and panic hits him, because this is the opposite of the standard strategy. Berge laughs and makes it clear he knows, and this is exactly why he does it. Gordon still speaks with fear and says that with the current tower, they cannot stop such a big hero force anyway. Berge laughs carelessly and says he will bring a dwarf and get the tower reinforced. Gordon's mind shakes. He panics and says that first an elf and a princess are already happening, and now a dwarf too, and heroes will come. See a dwarf inside the Demon King Tower, and everyone will turn into a joke. Berge's eyes narrow. He raises one finger and black fog spreads all around. The pressure of dark magic becomes so heavy that Gordon's mouth closes by itself. In a cold voice, Berge makes it clear he needs a dwarf for their magical tools, so Gordon should stop the useless talk. Then he explains that heroes are used to weak monsters on the first floor, but his tower will not be like that. He shows his teeth in a grin and paints the picture in his mind. The moment the door opens, dozens of cannons will already be loaded and aimed straight at them, and the heroes will not know what hits them. Gordon thinks for a second and only mutters that this is very far from the standard. When he looks back at the throne, no one is there. Berge is already gone. Gordon's face turns white, and he tells himself this mad demon king is going to kidnap someone again.